All right, but hey, come on, it's time for parenting, and we will be talking sex education, myths, and common errors parents make. We have Omolayo
Oyawoye.
Oyawoye. I did, okay. Oyawoye. You had a very interesting story. We had a wonderful time with you last week. So this week we're continuing. You're a therapist, and it's quite interesting, yeah? Myths and errors when it comes to sex education, yeah? So let's get straight to it. What are the most common ones?
Okay, so the most common ones are parents thinking that their children are too young to understand what sex education means. And then some of them feel that their children are too innocent. They don't know anything about sex. They don't know anything about sex education. And so they all feel, oh, let's just wait till they are older, okay? And see, I like to tell parents that your parents probably know more than you do. Your children, probably knows more than you do when it comes to sex, sexuality, and everything about that. All right, so don't deceive yourself, and don't you are in for a rude shock if you feel that your children do not know what goes on behind the doors. Yeah. So that's why it's better to start the sex education early. It helps you to even know what your child knows already. I mean, you're not with them in the classroom. You're not with them on the playground. You're not with them in the school bus. So let's assume that, I mean, you've taught your children, you've done all of that, and they mix up with other children whose parents didn't teach them. And so everything they stumble on the internet, everything their uncles and aunties have done in the house, they pass it on to your children. You don't want your children,
We're saying the way we were raised, we can't raise our children
no, you
that way.
You can't. I mean, we couldn't talk about sex. I'm sure you couldn't talk about sex growing up.
Where? When?
I'm over here, 40. You know, so of course, because there's been more people to influence your children, both on the internet, everywhere, they get to know more, they get to see more, all right? And you want to be the first person to tell them about sex, sexuality, everything that has to do with that, all right? So that your children know the correct things, all right? See, I like to tell parents that the consequences, the results of sexual abuse is not what you even want to think about. You know, like I said last week, I'm a survivor, and it went on for years. I struggled for years, and it's simply because I've been sexually abused severally, all right? And, I mean, it took Jesus to be healed. It took Jesus to be here, yeah? After going through talk therapy and all of that, I needed emotional healing. And emotional healings take time because you can't see them, you can't feel them. So it takes time to grow out of the pain, out of the hurt, all right? And so you don't want to expose your children to all of that. What sex education does for your children is it lets them know that what this person is doing to you is wrong. I didn't know what they were doing to me was wrong. I just didn't like it. I didn't know the word for it. I didn't even know how to describe it to the other person. I just didn't like it, and it hurt so badly. Do you understand me? But if your children know what it is, they know they can shout. They know they can talk to you. They can call for help. And I want to say that every adult is responsible for the children around them.
But that's exactly where I wanted to go.
Yeah.
Some of these adults, when they abuse these children, and then maybe the child goes to the parent, or maybe it's from one parent and goes to the other parent, you find either they discredit what the child said, or they say they are lying, or they try to hush it. In that scenario.
That's terrible.
How do we address people that, let's address the parents, because the child can almost not do anything at that point. Let's address the parent or whichever adult that has, that report has been made to.
So that's why we are creating this awareness. So it's not just for parents, it's for adults everywhere. I say that when a child reports to you that they are being touched inappropriately, the first thing to do is not to shut the child down. The first thing to do is to let the child know that you can talk to me. I want to hear more. Tell me more. Don't shut. See, so it happened to me once. I tried to fight this. I tried to talk to an adult. Oh, I heard I mean, I can't describe what she told me. So I decided to shut down. I decided not to talk to anyone about it. And it continued. It kept going on. All right?
Let's also talk about the future consequences for adults who don't understand what this can do to that child's future. Let's talk.
So you don't want to leave. So there are two extremes, okay? There's the extreme where the child gets withdrawn, the child gets depressed, the child begins to lose interest in everything. Because, I mean, something has been done to this child. He's not been able to express it. He can't fight it. He can't defend himself. And so begins to withdraw. They become suicidal. I got depressed at some point, all right? And the other extreme is for the child to begin to love it, to begin to, you know, get involved in inappropriate sexual behaviors, to begin to, and it all starts. So when you see a child abuse another child, it's most likely started from that child being sexually abused.
By an adult.
By an adult, all right, or by another child who also was sexually abused. See, this thing has a ripple effect. It just goes round in circles, all right? And you don't want to raise such an adult. Imagine someone who's depressed, the good part, the good potential this child has would never come out, because the first thing sexual abuse attacks is your self-esteem. You begin to feel less of yourself. You begin to feel like a piece of rag, all right? Because, I mean, that's what everybody does when they see you. So it's important that you take responsibility for the children around you. When they walk up to you, investigate. Don't shut them down. Don't blame them. Don't tell them it's their fault. Imagine telling a 7-year-old it's her fault that she was touched. How? Like, how? Where's the breast? Like, what could she have won? Yeah? To facilitate the sexual abuse. So it's not time to blame the child. It's time to find out who did what, where was it done, what did they do to you. We even need to know the extent, all right? The extent it went. That's how to save the child and save other children. So if this pedophile goes, there's a word I'm looking for. If it goes on without being reprimanded, without being exposed, yeah, he feels he can do it with other children.
Wow, you know, I love the passion with which you talk with this. I'm happy that we still have you.
Next week.
2-3 more weeks and all of that, we'll talk more about this.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
All right, so we'll just take this time out now. Stay with us. We will be back in the kitchen.